Every haunted place has a story with a dark past. This is Ghost Encounters Podcast. Welcome back, all you spooky people, to the Ghost Encounters Podcast. I am paranormal investigator Justin Torok.
And I'm Jordan, the group scientist.
I'm Hannah, your death-obsessed bestie.
Before we get started, a couple announcements. Our Pride merch is back early this year, so you can go to ghost-encounters.com, click on the Spooky Shop, and you can see all of our Pride merch. The reason it is out early, I mentioned this in the last podcast episode, but we are sponsors of Greenway Pride. It is a family-friendly, fun Pride event in the south side of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It is on May 18th from 1 to 4 p.m. So, if you're nearby, or, hey, you want to come meet us? We'll be there at the table. We'll be selling shirts.
Show up. You want them, you need them.
And come meet us. Woohoo!
We are so charming in person, you guys. It's like it's not even fair. It's not even right.
Right?
Yeah.
Or just a tad socially awkward for me. Like just a little, I'm a little socially awkward.
It's funnier in person too, I think, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
It's all off the cuff. All of it. We don't write anything down at all.
And we're sexy as fuck, so that helps too.
Speak for yourself.
Well, let's get right into it. In this spine-tingling installment, entitled Triangle Terror, we plunge into the darkest depths of three infamous triangles that have left a trail of mystery and terror in their wake. The Bridgewater Triangle, the Bermuda Triangle, and the Devil's Triangle. Join us as we navigate through the shadowy realms of these mysterious regions, where ships vanish without a trace, aircraft disappear into thin air, and the veil between our world and the unknown grows ominously thin. Brace yourselves for an eerie journey into the heart of the unknown, where the whispers of the lost echo and the sinister forces that dwell within these triangles await.
Fuck yeah, dude. I feel like we need a screaming triangle solo, like just to butt up against that, just on a triangle.
Yeah,
on a triangle. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah,
ding,
I'm
ding,
literally,
ding.
I'm picturing ding, 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 and then someone's like,
Yes, exactly that. That's what I'm envisioning.
Screamo Triangle.
Mm-hmm.
Streamo Triangle.
Love it.
We got it. Taking the music world by storm.
Ghost Encounters.
Just unrelated
With our
things.
triangles.
That would be the only instrument I could play.
Seriously.
Same. Oh
Same.
my god.
I have
Total
no
clown
instrumental
shoes,
talent whatsoever.
Nope.
Do any of you listening have a triangle? We would love to find out.
Record something
Record
and
it.
send it to us, and we'll post it.
Yeah, give us our Screamo Triangle intro.
Launch your triangle career with us now.
Speaking of triangles, let's get right into it, and we're going to start off with Jordan.
So I did the Bridgewater Triangle, which this is like insane. Like I heard about it on a podcast, and I actually watched a documentary just recently on it, and it's an area that's about 200 square miles in southeastern Massachusetts. I didn't realize how big it was either until I looked up a picture. Like, there's some other things that are inside the triangle that I'm like, holy shit, that's
And not too
huge.
far from us. You can probably get there within, 4 or 5 hours.
Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Yeah. It's claimed that the area contains many alleged paranormal phenomena ranging from UFOs, which is my favorite,
Of course.
to poltergeists and other spectral phenomena, various Bigfoot sightings, giant snakes, and thunderbirds.
Giant
Big-ass
snakes and
birds.
thunderbirds. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. The term Bridgewater Triangle was coined by a New England-based cryptozoologist named Loren Coleman.
Oh my god. Okay.
He's a very handsome dude
Have you
for
read?
his
Do you
age.
know, Hannah?
I know a little bit about Loren Coleman.
I figured you would.
I might own his book. I haven't read it. But
And I know it sounds weird that he's like a cryptozoologist. You're like, oh yeah, they're all wacky. If you look at him, he looks super normal. And the way he talks, it's like, he sounds just like a zoologist. He doesn't even sound like,
I mean, they
he's into
technically are. They're
Bigfoot.
just studying something.
Yeah, like, like he just, he doesn't seem like, I don't know. Sometimes you look up these people and they seem out there.
And they look like the ancient aliens.
Yeah. Like, where they're just like, not
the
to
crazy
judge,
aliens. The
not
crazy
to judge it, not to judge how they look, but this guy looks like he's well put together and he knows a lot of shit about the Bridgewater Triangle. And he coined it in his book, Mysterious America. The top peak of the point of the triangle, this is going to sound really weird when I keep talking about this, begins in Abington, then it comes down to Rehoboth, and then over to Freetown, and then back up, forming literally a perfect triangle. in the area.
Really big, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
At the center of the triangle, there is a swamp called Hockomock. I'm not going to say it. I don't know if that's right. I don't know if it's wrong. But whatever. Hockomock Swamp. The largest swampland in New England, and it's almost 17,000 acres.
Damn.
It's huge. And it's rich with, like, animal, plant, and, like, a bunch of diversity of, like, geological organisms and shit like that. Super cool.
Yeah, you'd love to go there, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I don't know. We're going to get to it. I'm kind of being a little freaked out to go there. But, because this is, like, it's just crazy. They have so much shit that happens in one specific area. You could go on and do a deep dive for
Oh my god,
days.
I just read ahead. Okay, I'm sorry.
For days, you could do deep dives on this. The dense surroundings mean that it is a very difficult place to navigate, which leads some to believe certain creatures could lurk in the swamp undetected.
Okay.
Like the Bigfoots and, other shit.
Yeah.
Sorry if I say this wrong. The Wampanoag tribe gave the name of the swamp, Hockomock, means place where spirits dwell, since it was used as a sacred burial ground, and the colonial settlers said that it was called Devil's Swamp.
There we go.
Wow.
Naturally, there's
Wow, so we have two different groups. I mean, the same time era.
Yeah.
But literally labeling these places as either where spirits are or the Devil's Swamp.
Wow.
So shit must have happened.
Yeah, we're gonna get to it.
Cool.
There's a lot of shit that happened there in the swamp.
I don't want to say this sounds exactly like Pet Cemetery, but this sounds exactly fucking like
Somebody
Pet
in
Cemetery.
in a podcast I listened to said that too.
Yeah,
They
because
literally
it's
said
true.
that.
It's
They literally
true.
said the same thing. Like, didn't
The
you guys watch
ground's gone
Poltergeist?
sour. Oh, Poltergeist 2. They
Yeah.
didn't move the bodies. And
Yeah.
You just moved the headstones.
I didn't move the bodies. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. According to the book Weird New England, Bigfoot sightings have also occurred in the swamp, and that the creatures are generally calm. But at one point in the 1970s, one of them apparently went batshit crazy, haywire, killing pigs and sheep belonging to these local farmers. Police with attack dogs searched the swamp for 2 days, but found no sign of the Bigfoot creature, which is apparently supposed to be like 8 feet fucking tall. So how the hell did we find it? You know what I mean? Taunton is smack dab right in the middle of the triangle around the swamp, and visitors to the Taunton State Hospital have reported strange happenings, including having their shoulders and legs touched or pulled when entering certain areas of the hospital. There were areas of the hospital that were allegedly used for satanic cults in the 1960s and 70s as well.
That fits.
As is
Yeah.
tradition.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cult-like shit that happens in this
There's
triangle.
a lot of strange shit in this area.
Yeah. So going back to paranormal sightings and theories that I have listed, is fucking huge. This list that I have is fucking huge, and it's not even all of them. So starting off with unidentified flying objects, often they can be seen as bright balls of light that are large and unusual spacecrafts. 2 reporters, which I found, this is so cool to me. 2 reporters, one of them was in the Air Force, saw a bright light and like a pentagon-shaped aircraft. They described it as a like a baseball base, like, you know how it kind
like
of
home
looks like
plate.
a house.
Yeah.
They described it like that with a light on the bottom of it. Looking at it.
Ooh, look at
Wow.
that.
Yeah. They immediately knew something was odd, and before they could like kind of like investigate more, it took off. And then the series of sightings were reported like 2 weeks after, basically matching their claims.
Wow.
So it's never just one person seeing something. It's multiple people always
Right.
seeing shit in this fucking
So
triangle.
whatever aliens were there kind of hung out for a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because then they said they saw it at different locations. They talk about it in this documentary that I watched on YouTube. It was free. It was like an hour and a half. It's a pretty good documentary. A little crazy because there's a lot. There's a lot going on, but it has so much information in it. But I just thought it was crazy because he's like, I was in the Air Force. Like, I know what we have. That's not any of ours. Like,
Right.
I knew it wasn't ours. And this guy was like monotone, super serious, like just telling you what I saw. Take it whatever way you want to take it.
Yeah.
The other guy was like, I saw a motherfucking alien. Like, he was just like, I saw something. He had like the piece of like wood cut out and the little light and like showed. And he was like, and I'm a skeptic. Like, I didn't believe any of this shit was real till I actually had to go and report on it and
Right.
saw it,
I want
which
it.
is even more credible.
I want it.
I've seen one once, and that shit was weird.
Yeah.
What?
We've talked-
Aliens?
Yeah, UFO. We talked about this before. I don't know if you were
I don't know. I didn't
regularly
listen
on the
to episode.
podcast
I'm
yet,
sorry.
but we were driving late back home from the beach. It was like late at night. I was driving, and out the window up in the air above the trees was a triangular-shaped craft with 3 lights at each point. And it was just kind of gliding along, and Taylor was up with me, and she's like, is that a fucking UFO? And I looked out, and I'm like, that's a UFO.
I don't know.
And we're like, my God, there's a UFO!
Yeah, because I think I'm like, what are we looking at?
It was like just above the tree line following us, and we're like, it's following us! And all of a sudden, poof, it was gone. Gone.
Whoa!
Yeah, wild.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that for you guys. I'm so jealous. Nothing ever happens to me. You guys.
Every time I see something blinking slightly, or like it's something that I just am like, okay, it's not something I'm used to seeing up there. The fuck is it? I like run out, like just the other day I ran in my backyard because I saw green lights outside, and I was like, where are you? Where are you? And Paige is like, it's probably lightning.
You would be that chick from Independence Day at the top of the building with the sign, and then you got blasted.
Yeah, that would be me. I would be murdered. If they're mean aliens, I'm dead because I'm gullible. I'm biased when it comes to the aliens. Like, take me, please, dead.
We all want to believe.
All right, moving on. There are unnatural animal sightings, like I said about the big-ass snake and other shit like that, ranging from unusual reports of animals that are not found in the area, such as panthers and bears,
What?
to more supernatural claims of giant snakes and enormous vicious dogs. And some of the sources said that they have red eyes, like glowing red eyes, these dogs,
Wow.
wolves.
Sounds like my sister's dog.
They say that the giant snakes are as big as tree trunks.
Whoa.
That can wrap themselves around tree trunks.
Fuck.
Yeah. There are sightings reported of large African cat species and even a dead serval without its head, like a clean cut was found dead.
Ooh.
They think it could be cult-like, but other people that are used to hearing stories about this Bridgewater Triangle say like, hey, what the hell could be out there that's capable of killing something like that?
Right.
So it's one or the other.
These species shouldn't be here.
Like
Yeah.
servals, like I know that for a while people are trying to have them as pets.
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, I would think it's more cult-like than it just, naturally got there and it's just living out there and,
Right.
whatever. But then people are saying that they see African cats.
Yeah. Should not be
What
there.
the fuck, you seeing a goddamn lion out there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
And how can you mistake something like that as, like, a bear? Like, you know the difference between an African cat and a bear.
Right.
Even if you're a couple miles back, you still can see that it's a fucking bear. They're completely two different animals.
Bears don't have long tails.
Yeah,
That
and
is
big-ass
true.
manes or
That
whatever
is
the
true.
hell. Okay. At the edge of the forest of the triangle, there's a place called Assonant Ledge. I hope I'm saying that right. Sorry about it if I don't need somebody to write in and be like, yo, you bitch. Don't say that. That's like Appalachian and Appalachian where
Yeah.
people are like fucking lose their minds over that one.
Disrespect. Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'm so sorry.
It's what I was taught. So this ledge has its own set of legends. The remote location has reportedly been a site of ghosts, sometimes known as the Lady of the Ledge. Apparently, she stands at the top of the ledge and leaps off.
Whoa.
And as she's
Oh, shit.
leaping, she disappears.
I wonder if it's like a suicide person and she's just reoccurring her fucking suicide every
Yeah,
time.
which is really sad.
Terrible.
I read that someone from the New England Paranormal Research Group reported that he broke down on top of the ledge and he heard a spirit tell him to jump or leave.
Oh shit.
Whoa.
Also super fucking scary.
Damn.
Yeah. Also, there's a stretch along Route 44 in Seekonk. I love their names of things. It's literally bringing me to life.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, just snorted.
You finally got a snort.
You finally got a snort.
Oh.
Apparently, on this stretch of road, they see a red-headed hitchhiker. He looks like a farmer in denim and a flannel shirt. Apparently, like a big scruffy beard.
Hannah would have stopped.
I would. I know I would. Oh my god, that's gonna be how I die. Petted something I wasn't meant to pet, or picking up a hitchhiker I was not meant to pick up.
Just because he was redheaded, bearded, and looked like a farmer.
Look, man, I like what I like. There's nothing I can do about it.
Motorists have reported seeing a man with long red hair and a full beard walking along the roadside, but when they stop to pick him up, the man usually disappears. Also, some people say that he like carries a little light with him, like he's looking for
A little
something.
lantern.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
It's
he's
a little
looking
bit
for something.
like Over the Garden Wall.
Others have allegedly reported driving through the spirit and even having picked him up before he disappears. So he actually gets in the car.
That would be fuck.
There
Like,
was-
oh my god.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Like, hey, sure, hop in, man. And
like,
you look,
look,
you look in the rear view like, where the fuck did he go?
Yeah.
Come on, dude. You could have just said no.
It seems like he doesn't talk either.
Yeah.
Like, from everything that I've read, nobody has said that he's like, yo, what are you doing?
I'm sure he's
Stretch of
nice. He's just
road.
looking for something. Lost.
Like,
Pointing his finger.
There was, in the documentary that I watched, it's literally called the Bridgewater Triangle. You can go on YouTube and look it up. Somebody said that they were driving down the stretch of road after like picking somebody up like from the airport or whatever, and in their it was raining, and as his windshield wiper was going back and forth, his face came up onto the windshield.
Oh wow.
So they could see, like, the person saw him
Yeah.
looking into the car, and he said he floored it and got the fuck out of there as
Well,
fast as he could.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Rehoboth Cemetery is apparently super haunted with
Ooh.
a ghost of a sinister little boy that apparently wants you to stay. Doesn't want you to leave the cemetery.
Aw.
Stay with me. You know, blah, blah,
Poor
blah,
kid.
blah.
That's
Yeah.
not that sinister. Poor guy's
Yeah.
just lonely.
Poor little thing. But maybe he's not a little boy.
Ooh. That's how they get you.
Yeah.
Another one that'd get me, man.
A woman in white and a cloudy vapor. That comes back a couple times
Okay.
in the Triangle stories. A man with 17th century attire who pounds the ground in frustration. Apparently he's like crying. Like, I don't know if it's his gravesite that he's pounding or if he's upset that somebody he knows is dead and buried there.
That's cool, though.
Yeah. There is a meeting house located close by the cemetery that is haunted with orbs and Civil War looking soldiers. Again, the documentary goes more in depth. Obviously, I'm just, rambling about
It's a lot
different
of
stories.
info.
Because there's more. There's like a guy that's in all black that walks around, and they have like pictures that people like have drawn up of what they see, which is even more cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. So moving on, this weird, odd Thunderbird sighting.
Cool.
I had to look up what the fuck a Thunderbird was. I had no idea what a Thunderbird was.
Oh.
So, people have reported seeing giant birds or pterodactyl-like flying creatures with wingspans up to 12 feet, some say 20 feet,
Wow.
are claimed to have been seen at Hockomock Swamp and neighboring Taunton and Easton, including a report by Norton Police Sergeant Thomas Downey. Which is even more compelling that, a police sergeant is like, holy
Right.
shit, I saw a big-ass fucking bird, what the fuck?
Right.
A person in authority.
I saw
surprised I didn't see
fucking...
Mothman.
Yeah.
Seriously. I saw a big ass fucking bird on the highway, and I looked at Paige and I was like, that's a big fucking bird. And they're talking about 12 feet wingspans and stuff.
Birds are big. Birds are goddamn
Yeah,
big, dude.
Yeah. And I guess they have big bird like species up there, but like these people that are, I listened to this one podcast and they're from Massachusetts and they were like, you can tell the difference.
I could imagine.
Clearly. But anyway, I looked up this Thunderbird thing. It's apparently like a mythological bird that can like shoot fucking fire and fucking lightning bolts or some shit out of its mouth and crazy shit. And I'm like,
Yeah, it's like an indigenous kind of
Yeah.
sort of religious, mythological.
yeah. Because I was
entity.
like, is it a real fucking bird? Like, because I don't know shit about birds. First
Oh,
off, birds are another one that just freak me the fuck out. Because you
Fuck
don't know,
birds.
you know what they're thinking. They may
No.
like you and then all of a sudden peck your fucking eye out.
Yeah,
Sure.
birds are too smart.
Yeah.
And they sound like people sometimes, and it's very scary. Very scared of birds.
So this is probably the biggest portion of this segment is the cult activity.
Right.
So there have been like animal mutilations and like weird shit that they stumble upon as they're, people are hiking or whatever. And these are particularly in Freetown and Fall River. And every time I hear Fall River, I always think about that show Virgin River. Have you ever seen it?
I have never seen that show.
They
What's
say
in it?
Fall River all the time in that fucking show. And it's a made up location. So I'm like, why did you pick Fall River? Because now I keep thinking about it. Local police were called to investigate mutilated animals that were believed to be the work of a cult, obviously. 2 specific incidents in 1998 were reported. One in which a single adult cow was found butchered in the woods, and the other in which a group of calves were discovered in a clearing, grotesquely mutilated as if a part of a ritual sacrifice. And like they have pictures on this documentary, and it's fucking crazy. Like it's crazy, like these people, but like it almost looks like professional. Like,
Right. Like you can probably tell the difference between if a cow's inside was eaten out from like a wolf or something, but
yeah, like
but
this looks like
from
they
like chopped up and
cut
stuff.
it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. The Freetown Fall River State Forest also has a history of ritualistic murders committed by local Satanists. as well as a number of gang murders and suicides. In November 1978, the body of Mary Lou Marnuda, a 15-year-old cheerleader abducted from Raynham, Massachusetts that September, was discovered tied to a tree in the forest.
Damn.
Oof.
James M. Carter of Brockton, previously convicted of kidnapping in 1967, was also tied to the murder in 1979. He was never truly punished, which I always hate reading.
Mm-hmm.
And his guilty verdict was overturned in 1986, and it once again was overturned in 1992. Bullshit.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Fuck 'em.
Fuck 'em.
Into the sausage grinder.
In 1980, while police were investigating another local murder, which we'll get to later on, for some reason I have it out of order, they were approached by individuals who claimed to have witnessed satanic activity in the forest. First off, if I walk into a forest and I'm looking to fucking chill, I don't need to see anybody doing anything with
Or just
candles
camping.
and fucking,
Yeah.
you know, I would literally be like, deuces, where the fuck out? But like, if I knew that this area was like that, I probably wouldn't go try and
Stay out
sightsee
of
in
it.
there. Yeah, I just wouldn't even go in, my opinion. Apparently, it's really beautiful though, and like it has really cool shit.
Oh, sure.
As we're gonna
Yeah.
get to, there's
Yeah.
really cool like things that you can see. 3 more murders occurred in the forest, including the murder of a transient man mistaken for a police officer, and 2 men shot to death on Bell Rock Road. So they have reoccurrences of like weird murders happening.
Right.
I also forgot that Fall River was where Lizzie Borden's
That's
murder trial.
why that sounded
Yeah.
familiar.
I was like,
we
why
had
do
that
I
whole
know this
episode.
already?
I'm this whole time thinking about Fall River. I know Fall River, Massachusetts.
Yeah,
Why?
what happened
Because
in Fall
that's where.
River? Yeah.
That's where her murder trial was.
Wow.
Yeah. Doreen Lavec was a known prostitute who was found dead behind the stadium bleachers of Diamond, I think it's Diamond, Vocational High School. Her hands were tied behind her back and her skull was crushed,
Oof.
with signs of sexual abuse and ritualistic overtones.
Oof.
There's some
Yeah.
grotesque shit happening
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah, man.
A couple of months later, the remains of another prostitute, Barbara Raposa, was found in the local woods, the same way as Doreen. Her hands were behind her back and her skull was crushed.
Wow.
Over time, they found out that a local prostitution ring was participating in satanic rituals.
Wow.
Police officers went undercover to try to figure out more about the murders and found these like young cult leaders. Like I'm talking young. She was like a pimp at 17
What the fuck?
with her little friend that was 25. I don't know their names. I didn't write them down apparently. I didn't think it was very important. They were killing women basically in their cult. And like people were following them
That's crazy.
in their satanic cult. Yeah. The source that they got the information from actually went missing, and her skull was later found at a local beach with a lump of her hair and animal skulls around it.
So she was
Oh.
sacrificed too.
Yep.
That's brutal, man.
Yeah. The cult leaders were arrested and sentenced to life in prison. One of them was without the possibility of parole. I think the 17-year-old snitched on the guy,
Ooh.
and he got life in prison, no possibility of parole, and I think she got like just the life sentence
I
or
might have
whatever.
heard this
Right.
story
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
I'm not super sure, but I have nothing to offer other than that. I'm sorry.
Even after this cult activity seemed to continue, there's like literally in this documentary it just goes on and on and on and on and on.
Oh, I'm sure.
But for time's sake, moving the fuck on. Moving on to disappearances.
We already had people disappear.
Yeah.
But they were found and murdered, but.
Evelyn Packard went missing and was found dead of a possible drowning. This led to the discovery of something called Solitude Rock that has writing etched onto it. So it's like this slab, like right by this place in the river. Documentary, of course, tells you more than what I'm going to tell you. It has like this like cool, like it almost looks like our writing on paper. Like it's just like perfectly,
Oh.
like it looks almost like too good for somebody to carve in, but they have no idea where it came from.
Do they know what it says?
They do, I think. For this one, they do.
Oh yeah, wow, that's really interesting.
Isn't it cool?
Can I see?
Yeah, it looks like somebody had. It looks like a gravestone, kind of.
What
like,
the hell?
And they don't know how it got there because they
I
just
can't
found
read
it
it.
when
I
they
can't
found a
make it
dead
out.
girl.
Jesus, that looks too good.
Doesn't
Yeah, that's
it?
what I said. It's like it's not like it's Native American. It almost
no, it's
looks
like professional.
yeah.
I can't read it.
It's got
It's
really,
worn.
it's got really nice. It looks like fucking Times New Roman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I said. It looks like our
Font.
papers,
And-
like our font.
Like the letters are perfectly sized. Like nothing's like wonky.
Yeah,
Like I would have thought that was laser etched.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, and they have
Seems
no
really
idea how it got
weird.
there.
So weird.
This rock I visited so oft, I wish may remain here. When yon brick shaft on leafy sprog overlooks no more the plain, and let the trees around it grow to stripes its sides with shade, as on the quiet August days when I these letters made. That's what it says.
I can't believe you read that so beautifully.
Written
Thank
very
you. Thank you for reading that, because I would have butchered the shit out of that.
I did my best.
Yeah, but apparently it's like a mystery. Another
It's
mystery.
crazy. And there's
goes
like
like
a
everything
date
else.
on it.
It's like another one of those runestones that we were talking about with the
Yeah.
psychic. Pretty
Yeah,
strange.
we'll get to that. There's another freaking weird ass stone.
I love this.
Yeah, moving on. Right here, I have it in my notes. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Dighton Rock is another mystery that they talked about. They can't figure out if the markings on it are Native American, Norse or Viking, Phoenician, or Portuguese. They literally have a museum, like a little tiny museum here with this rock in it. And they literally, on the walls, they have these plaques that say, like, okay, this is 17th century Native American, blah, 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 blah. And they go through each one, and because they can't tell what the fuck is on this rock. So they just have all their sources that they think it could be up on the wall.
I wish you could see Justin's face looking at this.
Yeah, it's super cool, right?
Because it's like...
It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
Because, like, some people see, like, there's, like, a little, like, smiley face. Like, what we would draw as a smiley face on there, which can correlate to previous findings of Native Americans drawing little faces like that. But then there's runes on it. Like things that look like runes. So that's why they're like, okay, it's Norse and Viking. But it almost looks like a fucking graffiti desk at high school.
Yeah,
it just
really
looks
does.
like there's shit all over it.
Very stick figure, cartoonish.
Yeah. So they can't...
Plus
it's another
runes.
mystery. And this is another one that they just pulled this rock out of a lake. Like, they just found this rock.
So odd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's even a rock that looks like a face, and they think it could be Chief Metacom. He's from the war that we're going to get to. He was known as Philip by the colonists, because they have like this King Philip's war that we're going to get to. One cool thing was phantom fires in multiple locations, I read. It's not just one. And glowing balls referred to as spook lights in the documentary. I watched on YouTube, like I keep fucking talking about, reported to be the size of baseballs that can be different colors, blue, yellow, or red, the one guy said. Like, a trio of them were, like, hanging out. I was like, it's a fairy, you know, because why not? You have everything else.
Yeah, right?
Moving on, there's Native American curses. According to one tale, Native Americans had cursed the swamp for centuries because of conflict with colonial settlers. A revered object of the Wampanoag people was a belt called as Wampum Belt, was lost during King Philip's War. Legend says that the area owes its paranormal unrest to the fact that this belt was lost from the Native American people. And here we go, back to this fucking documentary. In this documentary on YouTube, this paranormal researcher was talking about it, and every single, like the first time he was talking about this belt, he was like, you know, the reason why I think all this stuff is happening is because they don't have the belt back. Lights go off in the fucking place.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
So they get everything back on, and he literally looks back at them, and he's like, if I find it, I'll return it to you. Lights go out again. And they're, like, freaking out. Like, this guy is, like, super stoked and everything like that, because it's just, like, instant. Like, as soon as he finishes talking about this fucking belt, the lights fucking go out.
That's crazy.
It's insane. During the war, the swamp was used for, like, most of the battles by the Native Americans, because they used it as, like, higher ground. They were like, okay, these white bitches don't want to come in here. We're going to hide in here. And, you know, they were already scared of the swamp, the colonists, when they got there.
I'd be scared of the swamp, honestly.
Yeah. Because it's like people say that they take their boats in there and stuff like that. Like, it's not like it's shallow. You know, like, it's a big-ass swamp. Interesting tidbit. King Philip's War was the bloodiest battle in U.S. or British history per capita, meaning the greatest population percentage died.
Damn.
75% to 80% of Native Americans were wiped out. 25% were of the colonists. To put that in perspective, that's somewhere around 5% of the combined population in Massachusetts at that time during the war.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. Other than a percent number, that's 500 colonists killed and 3,000 Native Americans. Oof. And these numbers included innocent women and children that were killed as well.
Of course.
Some researchers think
Terrible.
that... Yeah, seriously. Because they were just so fucking against each other. Like, it's the whole story is massive. Like, if you're a history buff, you can go into it because it talks about like how this guy becomes, you know, chief because his brother died and his brother really liked the colonists and they were trying to keep peace. And the colonists are literally like, bro, now that you're in charge, are you gonna stay our friend? And literally the entire time he's just like, fuck y'all. Like, I'm low key about to fucking kill you guys. Like, because at the beginning of the war, the Native Americans were winning, but then they started dying off, and you know, other things happened. You could go way into it.
This is something else to for a deep dive.
Yeah, like if you're a history buff, like probably Cameron would love learning about it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So some researchers think that the war could have been the start to all the shit that happens within the Bridgewater Triangle, or it could just be another part of the mystery of the Bridgewater Triangle. To this day, bones are still found in the swamp, Native American bones.
Damn.
I hope they leave them there.
Yeah, because they used it as a sacred burial ground, so thousands of people are buried in there.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any mummies in there. I love a bog mummy. I love any kind of mummy, honestly.
Who the fuck knows? But last, and my least favorite part, I'm gonna be honest.
No!
Is the Pukwudgie.
Pukwudgie?
It is a creature. No. Yeah, it's a creature from Algonquin folklore. The local Wampanoag people consider these little people to be dangerous tricksters. They have been especially associated with the Freetown State Forest within Bridgewater Triangle. There's this one guy in the documentary that like literally was like, I'm walking my dog and I saw this guy under a street light. He's 4 foot tall. He looks like a kid, but its face looks old. And like basically it was like trying to lure him into the forest with it.
Thinking like Leprechaun.
Yeah, like they have pictures online, and you know, like has like little chipmunk face, and like it sounds super cute, but I'm like,
but they'll probably fucking eat you.
Yeah, like you have to worry about those ones.
Yeah, the cute shit, they'll definitely eat you.
Yeah.
When I was doing my cryptid paintings, I did a Pukwudgie on a rock, and I used to leave it in my garden.
That's cute.
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's so much more. Like there's so much
crazy,
information.
because this already is a lot.
Yeah, which is why I pumped the brakes a little bit, because we could have probably done a whole episode on just this place, because it's fucking insane.
This is literally tens of thousands of deaths between people and wildlife. So much weird shit.
Totally.
Yeah, but the Bridgewater Triangle's odd phenomenon seems to be endless, and what I love, for the most part, all of these sightings, multiple people always saw
it's not
weird
just
shit. Yeah. And, like, it makes it more credible. There was this one guy that was, like, standing by a bank somewhere and, like, by a river. And across the river, he was, like, it's so funny. He was, like, I don't have a habit of hearing voices. But on this day, something told me I had to turn around. And he saw a fucking Bigfoot watching him.
Jesus.
And he went and grabbed his friend, and his friend went to look. And when he turned around, there was nobody there anymore.
Of course.
Fuck.
Yeah. So there's just so many different stories.
When are we going?
I don't know. I would love to go.
Yeah.
There was this one story. They did a ghost tour, and they were in the state park that I said, and this lady was there with a bunch of people, and halfway through there was this weird smoke blob that was up by the trees, and it was like kind of glowing a little bit green, and it was really, really weird. And then, you know, after the tour they went, because the lady was like, I didn't want to look crazy and say, hey, what the fuck is up there? You know? Could be a cloud cover that I don't know anything about, blah blah blah. So she goes home, she's relaxing, her friend calls, she goes, hey, I saw some shit tonight when we were on the ghost tour. And her friend's like, okay, well, you tell me what you saw, and I'm going to tell you basically at the same time, so we can see if they saw the same thing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they both saw the scary foggy mist. And then the cemetery has the same thing, where they have that weird foggy mist.
Yeah, you said.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Fascinating.
Insane.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in that triangular area.
Yeah.
In Massachusetts. That's wild.
Yeah.
So cool.
Like, this is a good one. This is a good one.
That is a good one. Well, we're going to take a short break and plan our trip up to Massachusetts, and we'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by The Colony Meadery. If you haven't tried mead yet, it's alcohol made for money, it's all natural, totally gluten-free, and delicious. Colony Meadery is one of the best meaderies in the world, and it's located in Pennsylvania's Lehigh Valley. Stop in and try a flight of meads, grab some bottles or cans to go, and experience some of the best booze in the world. They They have flavors ranging from tart and quaffable lemon laws and Wu-Tang Crayon to sweet cinnamon vanilla series of tubes, and even sweet heat with their mango habanero. Learn more at colonymeadery.com. Ghost Encounters is sponsored by Phoenix Fire Media. Elevate your business with their digital marketing strategies, including their multi-award-winning social media marketing, photography, and video production. Phoenix Fire Media, igniting success through creative excellence. Visit phoenixfiremedia.com. If you're enjoying the Ghost Encounters podcast, hit subscribe and give us 5 stars. To watch full episodes of the Ghost Encounters show, visit ghost-encounters.com. And don't forget, when you're on our website, click on the Spooky Shop for all your Ghost Encounters spooky swag. To stay up to date with Ghost Encounters, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Ghost Encounters PA. To send spooky fan stories, email GhostEncountersStories@gmail.com or message us on social. Do you want ad-free episodes of Ghost Encounters podcast, plus bonus episodes, extra content, and much more? Then you should head to Patreon and be a spooky VIP. Go to patreon.com/Ghost Encounters podcast and be haunted from all the benefits with the spooky VIP membership. Are you interested in becoming a sponsor on the Ghost Encounters podcast and haunting the ears of thousands of listeners with your brand? Summon us through our website or send an email to ghostencounterspa@gmail.com. We have numerous sponsorship opportunities lurking and waiting for you. And we are back. We are now going to get lost a little bit more down south from Massachusetts because we're going to get into the Bermuda Triangle. In the eerie expanse of the Atlantic Ocean lies a realm shrouded in mystery and dread, the Bermuda Triangle. It's a place where ships vanish without a trace, aircraft disappear into thin air, and whispers of the lost echo through the fog-shrouded depths. The Bermuda Triangle covers around 500,000 square miles of Atlantic Ocean. Its points are from Miami, through the Bahamas, to Puerto Rico, and of course up to Bermuda. The tale of Bermuda Triangle dates back centuries, starting with 2 early on. 1800, the USS Pickering, on course from Guadalupe to Delaware, was lost with 91 people on board.
Oh, man.
Gone. 1814, the USS Wasp, last known position was the Caribbean, lost with 140 people on board.
Oh my god, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
And these are older ships, so we're talking like very, very large sailing ships.
Yeah, this is like
It's
1800s.
a bad area to go missing too, because if you're in that water and they can't find your ship and stuff like that, there's mad sharks in those waters.
Yeah.
In case you're curious.
But I mean, like, these are professional sailors.
Yeah.
You know, and they're just gone. No trace of it. No wreckage.
Can't find the ship.
Nothing.
Yeah, can't find anything.
Yeah,
That's
nothing.
some Edgar Allan Poe
This is
shit
the
right
weird
there.
thing that happens in the Bermuda Triangle.
This is like my fucking biggest fear.
But the sinister reputation truly took hold of the 20th century. One of the earliest well-known incidents occurred in 1918 when the USS Cyclops, a massive collier ship, vanished without a distress call or trace of wreckage.
What is a collier ship? Because I do not know.
Think of like the first like kind of like mixed steam engine kind of ship. Think like World War I era.
Okay, like this is probably not correct.
A tiny Titanic.
You know?
Much tinier.
Much tinier.
Right.
My
much
brain,
tinier.
my brain goes like the Terror and the Erebus, you know. 'Cause that's where I'm going. I'm back into the cannibalism, you guys.
It's brought up in every single one of these.
It's me.
We have like a list of like 3 or 4 things that are brought up in almost every single podcast episode. Mothman,
Mothman shiny ass.
shiny ass,
Uh-huh.
and friggin' eating people.
happens.
How many of these am I responsible for
Cannibalism.
personally?
All.
Because
Both of them.
it's me.
But anyway, the Cyclops was 550 feet long, with a crew of 306 people and around 11,000 tons of manganese on board. Now, she's been sailing successfully since 1910, traveling
Sketchy.
between the Baltic Sea and the Caribbean and Mexico, and assisting with moving coal around the world and helping refugees. In 1917, when America entered World War I, the Cyclops became a key naval asset, transporting troops and coal to fuel other ships all over the world. But in March 1918, the ship was given new cargo, tons and tons of dense manganese ore, used in steelmaking. She left Brazil, loaded up with the brittle metal, then voyaged over to Barbados to resupply for the long journey home to Baltimore. this was the last known message from the ship. They said, "Weather fair, all well." In this long 9-day journey, something went wrong and no one from the ship was ever seen or heard from again. All 306 souls on board simply vanished.
That's fucking scary.
That's the most people yet, you guys.
Yeah.
This was one of the bigger stories. It remains the single largest loss of life in history of the United States Navy, not directly involved in combat.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was the Bermuda Triangle.
Yep. Then in 1941, the USS Proteus lost with 58 people on board in heavy seas, having departed St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands with cargo of bauxite on the 23rd of November. The following month, her sister ship, the USS Nereus, was lost with all 61 people on board, also having departed St. Thomas with the same cargo. Both were sister ships of the USS Cyclops.
Oh, they were called the Proteus and the Nereus?
Yes.
Those are primordial sea gods
Yeah.
that I learned about when I read the Stephen Fry book. We're taking it back to Greek mythology, too.
Yeah, this goes right back to Greek mythology.
Continue.
So fun.
But it's strange how the ship and the sister ships all lost without a trace, no warning, no distress call, can't be found. Bauxite is used to produce alumina or aluminum oxide, which is used to create aluminum metal. It's also used to manufacture other stuff like abrasives, cement, chemicals, just in case anyone didn't know.
So that's the second one. I didn't know. I had to look it up, and you literally
There
read
are
it.
people that say the bauxite could have broken down the metal that was made for the ships, and that's why they all went down. But still, there's no trace of them.
Yeah.
There's no distress call that they're sinking, that they're taking on water.
I think it's crazy that they
Can't
both
be
have
found.
like some sort of thing.
Like
an
an element.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is bauxite an element or a compound? I don't even fucking know.
compound.
Well,
I don't know shit, man.
We're
Pretty sure it's a
trying.
compound.
We're trying.
We're taking it back to...
we have to.
As the years passed, the Bermuda Triangle claimed more victims. In 1945, Flight 19, a squadron of 5 Navy bombers, disappearing during a routine training mission. Despite an extensive search, neither the aircraft nor the 14 crew members were ever found.
Oof.
Adding to the mystery, a rescue plane, a PMB Mariner sent on a search for Flight 19, also vanished without a trace, including its 13 airmen.
Wow.
Yep.
That's wild.
The chilling pattern continues. In 1948, a British South American Airways Arvo Tudor 4 aircraft vanished en route from Bermuda to Jamaica with 6 crew and 27 passengers. No wreckage was ever found, and the fate of the aircraft remains a haunting mystery.
Wow. That was passengers, too.
Yep. In 1963, the SS Marine Sulphur Queen, a T-2 tanker ship, big ship, vanished without a distress call while carrying cargo of molten sulfur. The ship and its 39 crew members were never found, leaving behind only more questions.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Molten sulfur?
No idea what that's used for, don't ask.
No, I wasn't.
I have no
I'm
idea.
I wonder how that is like possible to do.
Making
do you have to
sulfuric
keep it-
acid, rubbers, detergents,
There
fungicides,
you go.
fertilizers,
There we
and
go.
petroleum refining. Yeah, I had to look that up because I was like, why do I feel like it reminds me of like sulfuric acid, which is what we use in the lab. So I'm like,
Now let's jump
Weird.
forward a couple years. This is a really strange one because this is not far off the coast of Florida.
Hmm.
In 1967, December 22nd, Miami hotel owner and yachtsman Dan Burak set out on his cabin cruiser called Witchcraft with a priest named Patrick Horgan. I know, witchcraft, you can bring a priest, but the ship was only taken 1 mile off the coast of Miami so that Burak and Hogan could view the Christmas lights visible from shore.
Oh.
That night, Burak radioed a distress call to the Coast Guard informing them that the boat's propeller had struck something underwater, weird, and that the vessel would need to be towed in. That's all. Not that they're taking on water, right? Nothing too strange, right? They need to be towed in. They're only a mile away.
something ate them. Their boat.
Definitely.
The Coast Guard requested that they send up a flare in roughly 20 minutes so that the boat could be more easily located, right? It's dark out. You want them to send up a flare in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They can find it. The official who received the call reportedly later noted that Burak did not seem too concerned about the witchcraft, right? Propeller struck. We just need to be towed in.
Yeah, like hit a big rock.
Right.
Gotta go home.
But when the Coast Guard arrived to the location from which Burrough called, he and Horgan and the Witchcraft were nowhere to be found.
Wow.
Over the following days, a search was conducted over hundreds of square miles of ocean, but the boat and the 2 men were never, ever found.
Because even if you're coasting, you're not going miles and miles
No.
out.
No.
Yeah, especially if you're just kind of going out to look at the Christmas lights.
And they searched for them in the area for days. Nothing.
This makes me uncomfortable.
Wow.
The location of everything makes me uncomfortable.
That's
Yeah.
great.
It's crazy. Now, even modern aircraft, boats, and ships are not immune to the Bermuda Triangle's grip. In 2005, June 20th, a Piper PA-23 disappeared between Treasure Cay Island, Bahamas, and Fort Pierce, Florida. There were 3 people on board. In 2015, late July, 2 14-year-old boys went on a fishing trip on their 19-foot boat. Despite the 15,000 square nautical mile wide search by the Coast Guard, the pair's boat was found a year later off the coast of Bermuda, but the boys were not there. Bodies not there. Gone.
Wow.
Got eaten by sharks. I said it.
Giant crabs.
It's very possible.
When in doubt, I always
Yeah.
think of sharks.
In February 2017, a private plane carrying a family of 4 disappeared while flying from Puerto Rico to Florida. Despite an extensive search, no trace of the aircraft or the people were ever found.
Wow.
Though there's more. February 2017 again, Turkish Airlines flight TK-183, an Airbus, was forced to change its direction from Havana, Cuba to Washington Dulles Airport after some mechanical and electrical problems occurred over the triangle. This one they didn't disappear, but
That's fortunate.
they were able to, like, as soon as they got inside the triangle at some point, all the mechanical and stuff functioning just started going haywire.
I'd be
So they're like,
pants.
"Where turn the fuck around?"
Not today,
I
Satan.
have an idea.
Yes,
It's aliens.
I'm gonna get to that.
There, that's yeah.
Because it's all these elements and compounds on these ships, and like there's people, and like
People disappearing.
yeah, like
Right.
they're taking them.
It's
They-
possible. I'm gonna get to that.
Ooh.
There's 2 more. There's one more I wanted to cover.
Okay, go ahead.
In May 15th, 2017. There's a lot in 2017. Not sure why.
Yeah, they needed
Aliens.
more sulfur.
A private MU-2B aircraft was at 24,000 feet when it vanished from radar and radio contact with air traffic controllers in Miami. Gone. It was there. They could see it. You can see it in air traffic control, and poof.
That's terrifying.
That's crazy.
I was gonna say, I remember hearing stories of like people that are like literally talking, and they're like, "Hey, like my instruments are going crazy."
Poof.
Never heard from again.
Yeah. Total, what I found that they have like documented as a result of the Bermuda Triangle and some kind of incident, whether people have disappeared or like the other one where stuff malfunctioned. There was more disappearance. There was only like 2 or 3 malfunctions where people didn't actually disappear and they were able to reroute. But there's around 12 aircraft incidents, 15 sea incidents, and 1 land incident. In 1969, August, Great Isaac Lighthouse, that's in Bimini, Bahamas, during a hurricane, 2 keepers disappeared and were never found.
Wow.
They could have been washed away.
Yeah.
But as lighthouse keepers, I would feel like they know what they're doing. They've been through hurricanes.
True.
Why would they go outside?
Yeah.
True.
And the structure's still there. It's not like it crumbled or anything. You can still see it. It's pretty dilapidated now, but yeah. As the sun sets over the dark waters of the Bermuda Triangle, the whispers of the lost souls echo through the mist. Some attribute the disappearances to magnetic anomalies, underwater methane eruptions, or even rogue waves stretching over 100 feet. However, some hypothesize that a parallel universe exists in the Bermuda Triangle region, causing a time-space warp that sucks objects around it into a parallel universe. And others say it's extraterrestrial interference, because there have been UFO sightings, not just in the sky around the Bermuda Triangle area,
In the
but
sea.
also charging up out of the waters.
The USOs.
There's a huge documentary that you can watch where they think aliens actually go into the sea.
That's
Instead
crazy.
and then that's where they kind of settle when they're in the
Did
yeah.
you hear the conspiracy that NASA stopped? They tried to do like ocean exploring,
Oh my
and they
God.
stopped.
They stop.
They
'Cause-
stopped
'cause they
exploring
found
the ocean.
aliens.
I'm telling y'all, they're
That's-
everywhere.
That's where the alien base is. It's off Bimini.
Yet the truth
Bimini.
Well,
You never know. It could be anywhere. in the fucking ocean. The ocean's huge.
Yeah, it's just a place where human beings are not meant to go.
Yep.
We're not meant to be that deep in the ocean.
Nope.
We can't survive it. We'll all
Yeah,
die.
I agree.
the ocean scares me. We
Yep.
all know this.
Mhm.
Yet the truth remains elusive, and the Bermuda Triangle continues to cast its ominous shadow over the minds of all who dare traverse in its haunted waters and Twilight Zone sky above.
Lovely.
That is wild. I'm
Wait.
spooked.
I love it.
Cool, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of people gone. Now,
Yeah.
there's going to be haters who are like, oh, well, you could just map any area and pull out people that have disappeared, but this is really specific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were able to call it a triangle for a reason, just like how Bridgewater Triangle is.
Exactly.
All those incidents happened in these areas, and they
area.
created a fucking triangle out of it.
Yeah.
Like, bro,
it's
don't try to argue with me. Period.
Triangular.
Like,
So, and
there's a
there's
reason.
some people say that there's a point in the Bermuda Triangle where, like, you don't have to compensate with your compass when you pass a certain line, and that's why people get messed up. But I just feel like everyone who's been lost out here has been flying or has been sailing
Yeah.
for a long time, and they know the waters, they know what they're doing, and they're just gone
Yeah.
without a trace. That's the thing that's weird. After searches and searches, we still can't find wreckages or anything at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's the really wild part. The
Yeah.
lack of evidence.
I mean, there could be areas that are so deep that we can't explore, but
True.
there's just nothing. Nothing's washed up. Just nothing.
I just
Gone.
feel like with the technology we have now, we would like people would be able to say, okay, there's like some sort of rock that's down there, like that's making instruments go batshit crazy, blah blah blah. Like we'd be able to figure those things out. We still have no idea.
Right. Still
Like
no
we
idea.
still cannot solve the mystery of the Bermuda
Yeah.
Triangle.
But there's a
Not
lot
to-
of reports of where people are flying over and like stuff goes weird. Mechanicals stop or the compasses start turning. It's
Yep.
just like weird stuff.
Not to bring it back to the Terror in the Erebus again, like Franklin Expedition, we found those ships.
Yeah, those are found.
They were found.
And that was just in the fucking ice. Like,
Yeah.
they were found.
Yeah.
Now, here's something creepy with triangles. Again,
Okay.
4 years
This
ago.
was a while ago.
This was before the podcast. A woman reached out to Ghost Encounters. She reached out saying that she's seeing aliens, she's seeing UFOs.
What?
And she was from, like, Altoona area, Pennsylvania.
just back
So
and beyond.
probably, like, what, like 2 hours away?
Yeah, it
something
was a
like
dip.
that, west. And she's saying that she's seeing these orange and blue lights in the forest. She's saying that aliens are coming up to the house. She's hearing noises. She's driving. She's seeing them above the tree line. She attempted to send me some videos via email. They were very low quality. It was almost like trying to send videos back and forth between an iPhone and an Android. It just gets shrunk and looks like crap.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
bad.
I couldn't. One of them I can kind of see some lights, but I couldn't really make it out. I was like, all right, let me do some research. So there's a site that you can go on where you can track every single UFO sighting that anyone's ever had and the details that go along with it.
Is that like the MUFON database?
I
or-
forget the name of it,
Oh.
but it was cool because you could see it on a map and you can look at little pinpoints of all this, and it told you the details.
Mhm.
So I looked at her area. She is around game lands, just dense forest that's owned by the state, just dense forest of
Aliens.
wildlife.
Definitely.
So I looked at the area and I went as far as like north to Penn State to her area around Altoona. Then there was another point, and that makes 3 points, right? And they all reported the same thing: blue and orange lights. Orbs in the forest. And it creates a perfect triangle around the state land forest.
What?
Ooh.
Yeah. Weird,
Spoopy!
Yeah.
right?
That's like the tip of something. You know?
I know.
That's the very tip of
But
some kind of iceberg.
Then she just stopped responding.
Ooh.
Did the aliens take her?
I don't
I hope
know.
not.
I
I
can't
hope she's
find
doing
anything
okay.
about it. I can't find them. They just stopped responding. So they may have been taken by aliens. If you're listening, if you remember me, reach out because I want to go back into this. But yeah, that
I have
happened.
Also,
like
yeah,
tears
we
in
hope
my
you're
eyes
alright.
right now. I have tears in my eyes right now. You never told me this.
Yeah, crazy.
Why did she get so fucking lucky? Do I have to like go
Oh
up
my
there and like?
God.
We
She
we'll
was
go to
scared. They
Altoona.
had kids. Like,
Yeah,
they
she
were-
was.
Well, there's
I
some
remember.
stories about people that are in the woods where they talk about like these weird alien thingies, like watching them from the tree line and coming up to the house and sometimes
Look,
seeing handprints and shit on their
I
house
will-
and stuff.
I will stare a ghost in the face. I will yell at a demon. I don't care. But aliens have the technology to take me far away in an instant, and that terrifies me.
See, I think that's the part that appeals to me.
happens,
Of course
yeah.
it does.
Take me out of this fucking shit. So I have to pay my student loans.
Fuck my taxes.
Yeah, just
like my car.
whatever.
Fuck it all.
I just want, like, in my mind, I'm like, it's gonna be like a euphoria place to go. Like, oh, it's gonna be amazing. Right. There's gonna be rainbows and fucking butterflies, and really, it's just ass probes and fucking
yeah. You on a metal table and they're just dissecting.
Or you like in Slaughterhouse 5, you end up in like a human zoo or like an intergalactic sentient being.
Yeah, that would be fucking. That would be my fucking luck. I'm like, great, I want like an escape, and here I am, fucking caged in like a fucking animal.
You know, honestly, in Slaughterhouse 5, it wasn't that bad because the guy who got abducted, I think his name was Billy Pilgrim. I'm struggling, but he gets abducted, and like a supermodel gets abducted, and they're together in like
It sounds familiar.
Cosmic hamster cage. But they just like they're naked all the time, and they just hang out and like fuck and hang out.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's like a cool time.
Funny.
They're never like distressed about it or anything. They're just like, oh yeah, because it like explains that time is not necessarily linear, so everything is kind of happening all at once. Dude, read Slaughterhouse 5. It's a fucking trip. Anyway,
it sounds bizarre.
It's not what I was expecting.
Well, Hannah.
Oh,
it's your turn.
What was anybody expecting? I gotta find my notes. Where are they? Here we go. Okay, so this one has a lot of, maybe not at the start, but after a point, I get into some Japanese words. So if you are Japanese or a Japanese speaker, please forgive me. My brain is very smooth. That I researched the Devil's Triangle. This was very confusing for me because this was not something I had any prior knowledge of, or so I thought. And I really, I didn't know what direction I was going to take this in. I have no idea what this story is about. So it's bullet points. I'm going to info dump at you guys. Fucking prepare yourself.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I love the little UFO you drew on your paper.
Yeah, it's one of the 5 things I can draw.
I can only draw a stick figure, so bro.
Yeah,
you paint cryptids. You're good.
I think you very, very talented from the little house and.
I'm easily distractible. Okay, so the Devil's Triangle. If you go to Google and you look it up, it gives you 3 main results. The first is just that the Devil's Triangle is something that the Bermuda Triangle is also called.
It's a nickname for the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, and also they called the swamp, the Devil's Swamp, and the Bridgewater Triangle.
Yeah.
So everybody's just concerned about the fucking devil when it comes to triangles. The second thing that came up is there's this dangerous stretch of windy mountain road in Tennessee with no fucking guardrail. And I started reading this website because it was kind of interesting. The Devil's Triangle Tennessee version, and I was kind of into it, and then the website told me that somewhere along this stretch of road is the oldest still flying Confederate flag, and then I just immediately lost any desire to learn about this anymore.
Just click.
If you need a visual akin to the one on the website, though, it looks like a fucking menstrual pad taped to a popsicle stick. Like, the Confederates lost the war, die mad about it.
Horrible. Oh my God.
No.
We're gonna get hate for this one.
Fucking come find me. I don't give a shit. The third search result was actually the correct search result. And the thing that I was actually searching for is not only called the Devil's Triangle, but the Devil's Sea, the Dragon's Triangle, the Formosa Triangle, or the Pacific Bermuda Triangle.
Interesting. Okay.
It's like 20 names.
It is.
So, where in the Pacific is this?
Okay, first I'm just going to say that I'm going to be referring to it as the Devil's Triangle.
That's fine.
Just for,
sure.
Consistency, ease, and me not fucking my shit up.
Yeah.
But it is the Devil's Triangle is a region of the Pacific Ocean near Japan, specifically south of Tokyo. In Japanese, the Devil's Triangle is called Mano-umi, which translates to Devil's Sea, Troublesome Sea, or Dangerous Sea. This word is used to refer to multiple locations. It is not a proper noun, so there are many places kind of around Japan known also as Mano-umi, which kind of adds an extra level of uncanny to the Devil's Triangle. as it is kind of difficult to determine where exactly it begins and ends and how large it is. Some reports state that it is 110 kilometers off the coast of Japan, while others say that it is closer to Iwo Jima, which is a Japanese volcano island. Sidebar on this, I think all of Japan is kind of volcanic. If I remember anything from my high school earth science course, shout out to Mr. Keebler, I'm sure you would hate this podcast. It's that island chains are kind of the same thing as mountains, which form along lines where there are tectonic plates in the Earth's crust, and they crash into each other, and sometimes magma comes up, and it makes some of those mountains volcanic, both on land and in the water. So you get land volcanoes and ocean volcanoes, some of which are islands.
So on this podcast, you get information about ghosts, paranormal, supernatural, UFOs, serial killers, chemistry, biology, and now earth sciences.
Yeah.
You should listen to us, man. We're talking about
we
the
are
important
chock
shit.
full of information.
Yeah.
Someone go tell Mr. Keebler.
Yeah. Yo, he hated me in high school. The Devil's Triangle is allegedly exactly opposite the Bermuda Triangle on the globe. Yeah. I don't know if this is a fact, because the website I found this on was fucking sketch. It was less trustworthy than Wikipedia.
Oh, no.
And I did bad research because I thought it made the story cooler. But I'll tell you how I feel about the whole situation at the end of this.
That would be cool, though.
It
Imagine,
would, though.
like, there's this triangle just, like, tube that goes right through the earth, and it's all full of shit and stuff that just
it's like
takes you into
magnetic
another parallel
fields.
universe.
Yeah, like there's a big wormhole through the
Yeah.
center of the universe. Maybe, but through the center of the earth, and then you get sucked in there, and you pop out on the other side in blissful alien land. That would be nice. While the story of the Devil's Triangle became more widely known to the Western world in the 1950s, paranormal phenomena allegedly go back centuries. There's this one story that I did already hear that I had no idea was connected to this story, but I was excited to come across it again.
Cool.
This apparently took place in the vicinity of the Devil's Triangle and is known as the Utsuro Bune legend. Excuse me. The phrase Utsuro Bune translates to hollow boat. The story goes that on February 22nd, 1803, in the Hitachi region of Japan, a small boat washed up on shore. This boat was a hollow capsule in the shape of what the fishermen described as looking like a certain type of incense burner. It was made of wood, had glass windows, and a copper bottom, potentially to protect it from rocks. The fishermen hauled the boat ashore to investigate, finding the walls covered in an unknown language. They also discovered food, water, textiles, and a whole-ass living woman.
What the fuck?
Yeah, surprise. That's like crazy. The woman spoke what was probably the same unknown language and was very protective of a smallish box that she had with her that she would not open and would not allow anyone else to open. She was described as pale and had red hair and eyebrows.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's so strange that that's Nordic and Celtic areas of the world, which is really far away from where she should be. To have red hair and eyebrows like that.
It's like, I guess, more Western features. She's described as having more Western features. When the fishermen could not communicate with her, which they did try to do, they just kind of put her back in the boat and pushed the whole thing back into the fucking sea.
I read it and laughed.
Which
they're like, hey, we don't speak a language, we don't know what you're saying.
Later.
Okay, well, sorry to pull you in. Okay, bye.
Bye. Good luck out there, sweetie. Like,
good luck.
She's gonna fucking die.
Good luck in your small boat out in the sea.
You're not used to seeing people with red hair. Like, your first instinct is probably like witchcraft.
Yikes.
Weird.
Aliens.
Like, yeah, like,
aliens,
like,
definitely.
something like that, like where they're probably like, this isn't normal.
Yeah.
We're just gonna push her back out. She clearly belongs in the sea.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yo, have you guys? Okay, this is kind of a sidebar, but have you guys ever heard of the Tarim mummies?
No.
Okay, here's another fucking thing that I love to climb up on my weird little hobby horse about. But the Tarim mummies are mummies that were discovered in China that have, like, typically Western features, like blonde hair. One of them is, like, a redhead. They're wearing, like, Celtic period clothing. Nobody knows how they fucking got there. Nobody knows who they were. Nobody knows why they were buried there, but they're there and they shouldn't be. So I feel like there's a lot of not necessarily known about cultural cross-pollination in the ancient world.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And there's just shit that we'll never know.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
People
lost.
explored way before we thought they did.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, and they found like Roman statuary in South America. They found Chinese anchor stones out like in fucking Seattle. Like people
it's
get
crazy.
around.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wild. But yeah, so they threw her back in the fucking ocean. Some people think that this is early evidence of humans coming in contact with aliens.
Oh, we were just talking about that on a whim. That's fun.
Yeah. So some people think it was aliens. Some other people theorize that the language on the inside of the ship was Cyrillic and that she was maybe from Russia.
Okay.
Some people think she was a royal exiled in the wake of an affair. Some people think that she had her lover's head in the box. Everybody's like speculating wildly.
Right.
But whatever the way you swing it, it's really an interesting story with a lot of remarkably specific detail.
Yeah.
Like they have the date, they have weights of things, they have measurements of things.
That's
Like
crazy.
shit that you would not expect to be written down, but was, because this was just such a fucking weird incident.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, but that took place in the Devil's Triangle. There's also kind of one of the major legends revolving around the Devil's Triangle states that Kublai Khan, who is the 5th Khan of the Mongol Empire and the grandson of Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan,
Mm-hmm.
most badass person alive.
Isn't he like the genetic father somehow of like 15%, like 1.5%, just like a ridiculous
Of a fuck
number.
ton of people.
Yeah,
regardless.
a ridiculous number. Just dude fucked. But anyway, this man, Kublai Khan, was the grandson of Genghis Khan, surprising no one. He had planned to invade Japan through the Devil's Triangle. When his 40,000 men and entire fleet of ships were destroyed due to typhoons in the region, he completely abandoned the plan. Also, this happened twice. Once in 1274 and once in 1281. And that's kind of telling of something, even if that happens to be that Kublai Khan was not a good naval commander. Or maybe typhoons are seasonal, which I did look that up.
I was just going to think if they were.
I'm like, oh, is it like hurricane season? Is it like tornado season? They're not fucking seasonal.
Oh.
So, like, you can leave that in or not, but they're
Wow.
not seasonal.
Because I was just going to ask, are they seasonal? And then he just went back at the same exact time because he's an idiot? Or
Yeah, I was like...
Huh.
Because he's an idiot.
completely, I don't even know. But this story is also corroborated by marine archaeologists who have found Mongol ships from the appropriate period located in the Devil's Triangle. So that happened. That's a fact. And then lastly, and I guess kind of the Western conception of the Devil's Triangle is based upon this, but between the 1940s and 50s, there were many fishing boats and I believe 9 military vessels that vanished mysteriously from the Devil's Triangle, never to be recovered.
Wow.
In August of 1945, a Mitsubishi A6M0 airplane went missing. The final transmission from pilot Shiro Kawamoto was, "Something is happening in the sky is opening up," cuts off.
That's wild.
That's scary.
That
That is
fucking
literally
concerning
like
as shit,
Twilight
man.
Zone, time portal type
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, like the aliens, the ship opened up, the light comes down.
That
and
was
just...
what I was hoping was happening during the eclipse. I was hoping spaceships were just going to come right behind the fucking moon. Just
The spaceships are behind the moon. But the Japanese military was very fucking concerned about this, and they sent out another military vessel called the Kaiomaru No. 5 to investigate, which backfired because the Kaiomaru also went missing.
oh no.
Yeah. The wreck of this ship was eventually recovered, but the 31 crew members were never seen or heard from again. I was not able to find the cause of the wreck, if there's one known, but I have been led to believe that it was just a ghost ship out there drifting.
But even the bodies aren't there. It's just wild.
No.
It's like the other story where the one plane went missing. They sent another plane to look for it, and that one went missing.
Yeah. Like, fuck, what are we supposed to do now? Nobody is sure why so many weird things happened in the Devil's Triangle. In ancient times, it was said that dragons lived on the sea floor and would breathe fire at passing ships, presumably to eat them. And that would explain, like, volcanic stuff. The region is volcanic.
Sure.
You can kind of parse that as dragons if you...
Yeah,
if
imagine molten lava just spewing out the ocean.
Of course that's a fucking dragon.
Yeah.
Like, if that's your frame of reference, fucking of course it is. But it doesn't really touch the Utsuro Bune story,
right.
which is really weird. Even if it's not, like, directly, like, gouts of fire, it could possibly be, like, superheated methane or, like, magnetic field weirdness, which can also happen where, like, tectonic plates collide. And, like, I kind of agree with that. I feel like this is such a huge thing.
Right.
It's such just a huge component of the Earth and what the Earth is made of that, like, while it's probably more fun to believe that it's aliens or something, like, it's probably just volcanoes and shit.
For some of it, but like, how do you find the wreckage or find the shit, and then just all the bodies and people are gone?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Although, I mean, okay, maybe they ate each other.
Not one person's trapped. Not one body's still there. Just
yeah, but maybe I think that it would just be way too hard to investigate when you have something so huge and obvious as the answer. Maybe I'm trying to Occam's razor it too hard.
I understand what you're saying.
Know? Whole thing, we are not supposed to be that far away from land. You know, we're not supposed to be that far into the fucking ocean.
Yeah.
That, like, I can't see the bottom. No, thank you.
Yeah, seriously.
There's some real weird shit down there.
I was literally
around.
just telling. So Lab Week is coming up for us lab people, and we like to do fun games during Lab Week. And our second shift supervisor was like, "Hey, like, let's do, like, we know you love histology and you know you're in the lab for a reason, but, like, what did you really want to be? Like, what was your dream job growing up?" So I'm like typing away to my friend who's the second shift supervisor, and I'm like, "Yo, bitch, like, I wanted to tag sharks for a living, so I guess I wanted to be a marine biologist and blah, 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 blah." She's like, "Yeah, but," and I was like, "Yes, I know. I fucking am scared of the ocean." Like, you know, and it's just like, we're just like hitting that point where, like, I would have to work in a lab because I just have, like, agoraphobia when it comes to, like, open spaces like that. Like, you're just floating there. You don't know what's under you, don't know what's to the left, you don't know what's to the right, and depending on where you are, you can only see a certain amount of space in front of you.
And it's going to take so much time for somebody to go and rescue you too.
Yeah.
That, like,
you can't just call and say, "Hey, bring your car over here, I'm stuck."
Yeah.
No, you're in the fucking ocean.
Yeah. Like, you can't breathe. You can't escape. There's dangerous shit out there.
There's storm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's it. You can only tread water for so long.
Exactly.
Until your body just gives out and you drown.
Yeah. Fucking terrifying.
Awful.
Terrifying.
I'm getting as far as until something touches the bottom of my feet. Done.
And then you just puke and die immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think I would die. I always say that, like, because people are like, "Oh, you love learning about sharks and da-da-da-da. You know, what would you do in this situation?" I'd be like, to be quite frank with you, first, I'd shit my pants. Second off, I would die of a heart attack right away. Like, my heart would give out. There's no way I would survive because it could eat me after I die because I'm not going to be alive for it to take a bite of me.
I talk a big fucking game, but if you throw me in the ocean, I will die.
I'm never going to be near an ocean my whole life. You're never.
Really?
No, I will not go south when I'm old. I will stay where I am.
I love the beach though.
I'm not a beach person.
Really?
Nope.
I enjoy the beach in
like
summer.
the beach.
I couldn't live there, but
No.
Do you know why I like to go to the beach? I wear my fucking big visor thing to protect myself from the sun because it's another thing I'm fucking weird about. And I will look for seashells. That's the only thing I will do at the beach. I will not sit there and sunbathe like a fucking lizard. I will look for my pretty seashells and I will pack my car up and I will go home.
Have a drink in your hands.
I like to drink on the beach.
Yeah, it's a good time.
We went off on a tangent,
well,
sorry.
That's okay.
I can tell you one thing. I am not going anywhere near the Bermuda Triangle.
No.
That is terrifying to me.
Awful.
I do not want to get lost. I do not want to be sucked into a different time zone or whatever.
This side note is so funny. That Hannah wrote, it says, seriously, think about it. It's like trying to sail to the moon. You can't breathe, and you're going to get fucking roasted alive. Not meant to be there. If you want to stay home and knit.
Yeah,
Wise words of Hannah.
Learn to knit. If you want to live, learn to knit.
That needs to go on a shirt.
We'll get...
Stay home and knit.
Stay home and knit.
That is great. Well, have any of you ever crossed the Bermuda Triangle, the Devil's Triangle, or the Bridgewater Triangle? If you have, let us know. If you've experienced anything weird or if anything strange happened, please let us know. We'd love to hear it.
Are there any triangles we don't know about?
Yeah, are there others? This was a cool triangle episode, and these were kind of like the three main ones. Are there others? Do you know of others? We'd love to hear from you and get your thoughts and stories.
Yeah, if you want us to do more triangle stories.
Yeah, we take that shit super serious, you guys.
Yeah, exactly. And, of course, we need more spooky fan stories. We had someone write to us recently, and she wants to speak her spooky fan story rather than write it, which is fine. So if you actually want to call in on the podcast and be on the podcast, that would be awesome. We can totally do that. We can have you call in and you can speak your spooky fan story yourself. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Because we, you know what, I'm sure sometimes we fuck it up.
Seriously?
It's possible.
Probably.
Sometimes we fuck
You know what,
it
sometimes
up.
it's easier just to say the story than it is to write it out.
Yeah.
And the way that this person, like, presented it to me in the email was kind of like, I'm super busy. I probably only have enough time just to tell you whatever. She hasn't emailed me back today. She did say she has a very large number of kids, so
I read that.
I can't imagine that kind of responsibility. So it will help us if somebody comes on and they could just say it.
Yeah, and I think that'd be pretty cool. It involves other people onto the podcast instead of just us saying the words. But yeah, either or. Send your spooky fan stories. Tell us that you want to be on the podcast. You can say your spooky fan story. It would be awesome to be able to talk to you fans and, one-on-one and, kind of talk to you about the podcast and what do you like about it and your experience.
What do you hate about us?
Hopefully there's nothing. We do get a little weird, but hey.
Sorry.
Everything we talk about is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Well, thank you all so much for listening. As always, please share us around. It grows every day, which is great. Please give us 5 stars wherever you're listening. Don't forget about Greenway Pride. Come meet us May 18th, Southside Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, 1 to 4 p.m. We'll be there selling our Pride shirts.
It's
going to be awesome.
Pride shirts on Spooky Shop.
Yes, they're on the Spooky Shop again, but they will be discounted at Greenway Pride.
Ooh.
Ooh.
You get to meet us in person, see our beautiful faces, get some laughs, and a shirt.
Save your dollars, don't pay shipping.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Come see us in person.
Extra discount.
Exactly. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Stay spooky.
Leave the bones in the swamp.
And if you want to live, stay home and learn to knit.